It's Inside Out.
Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is life. Connect with it. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food where Mama eats. Along with the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.
Fall is here, and so are some great topics for our show. How about beekeeping, Wreaths Across America, pizza, plus we have an author, an artist, and a dancer. Yes, this is HTC Inside Out, the show about Horry and Georgetown counties. Welcome, friends. So I've been craving pizza because, you see, my husband doesn't eat cheese or red sauce. And so I asked Banana Jack and the Deacon from River Talk. I heard they eat in Conway all the time. I said, where is the best pizza and subs? And they sent me here to Three Guys, Subs and Pies, 4th Avenue, actually 701 South.
Same thing.
I'll tell you what, Brett, I love this place already. It smells great. It smells Italian. Are you Italian?
I am not. I'm redneck right here from Horry County.
But the fact is, you learned from somebody really good, because
Yes,
this stuff is delicious, they tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the business. How long have you been here?
We've been here almost 24 years. We're in our 24th year now.
And who are the three guys?
We have me, Brett, my brother Blake, and my brother Benji was here, but he took a job, I guess, 10, 12 years ago, and he's not with us.
Was he sick of making pizza?
No, he wasn't sick of making pizza. He wanted to make more money.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand that, of course. But you got a lot of other wonderful folks here.
Oh, we do.
Who's behind the scenes?
We got Buddy, we got Cam, we got Kenny, we got Braylon, Braden, Nick. Oh, we've got a pile of guys, and it takes us all to get it going.
Well, because not only do you cook here, but I understand you've got some pretty big catering jobs.
Well, we do. We do a lot of caterings. We've been blessed in that area. We do chicken bogs, barbecues, ribeye steaks, pork chops. You name it, we can cook it. We do it from anywhere from 100 people to 1,000.
Well, talking about all this food's making me hungry, and I'm here to eat pizza, and so let's get Blake. Blake, honey, I need a pizza. Pizza?
Hey, Diane, what you want in pizza?
I would like extra cheese and pepperoni. You see, I'm a purist. I don't like all that other stuff on pizza. I want to taste the cheese. I want to taste the pepperoni and some red sauce. So while that pizza's in the oven, how long does it take pizza to cook?
Pizza take about 8 minutes once it's in the oven and be ready to go.
Why don't we make a sub while we're at it? Because
subs are most popular. You know,
why do you think? Did you not think pizza would outsell?
I did, and we have our special sauce here, and for some reason, our subs outsell the pizza. But our pizza is superb in its own right. But we're best known for our subs.
So you heat up all your subs?
All our subs are oven baked. We get our breads out of New York City.
You know, a lot of people probably wonder why you get your bread from up north, because, you know, just like bagels don't taste the same here as they do up there, but it's the water.
People say it's the water. A lot of people come in from New York and they said, you know, it's the closest I found, but the acidity in the water it does make a difference. But we've tried to change breads a few times and try to save some money, but you can't skimp on quality.
Go for it. Right. Let's see what quality looks like.
We'll start with our super sub. We could with ham, turkey, and roast beef.
One of your most popular,
I'm sure. One of our most populars. Ham, turkey, roast beef. We always put cheese on our subs unless you do not want it, Chuck. I know Chuck wouldn't eat that.
No, doesn't eat cheese.
That's a bit of super sub there. And then we'll do a steak and cheese. I got a little steak prepared right here.
Now, all the people from Philadelphia would say, is this real steak and cheese?
Well, I've been to Philadelphia with a couple of friends of mine, and I think we can hang right there with them.
Good.
We put peppers and onions on there, and cheese on that as well.
You know, up there in Philadelphia, they say whiz. They do that cheese whiz
wit.
Whiz wit. That's exactly what they say.
That means with onions.
But I like this kind of cheese better.
Yep.
So it goes on that.
Yep, we use provolone. Put it on there and we put it in the oven right here.
Put it in the oven.
Yep.
These guys stay busy, though. From the time I showed up, the phones are ringing, people are coming in. So after 24 years, people know good stuff.
We do. They do. We've been blessed that people to come to us to give us a try. Most every time somebody comes in, they will be back. If we see a new face, we're really good on repeat customers. We try to offer a good product at a reasonable price, and people will keep coming back.
I love that you have combos too, that you can order like pizza and wings. Let's talk about your wings.
Wings, we sell a pile of wings. We sell a pizza wing combo, pizza and breadsticks, and that was just a throw in. We said, well, let's try to start selling some wings, and they just took off.
And you mentioned pasta.
When we first opened, we sold no pasta. Now that is going really crazy. It's just been a blessing on how much everything we try, it continues to take off. We sell, that sounds like our subs right there already, but we sell pastas as far as lasagnas, spaghetti, chicken Alfredo. That's our 3 basic pastas we sell. Sit right there, Blake.
Ooh, that smells great. Oh, I can feel the heat. Oh, and that looks great.
We top all our subs with lettuce, tomato, unless otherwise specified. Then we hit it with our special sauce.
Boy, with any luck, I won't be cooking tonight.
There we go.
Look at that.
Cut it and slice it.
So what has been the biggest challenge of having this business for 24 years? I mean, you know, you're a Southern boy. You've already said you grew up in Conway. You didn't grow up eating lots of pasta or pizza.
I did not. We started in the video business, and after about 6 months, my brother said, Benji, the one that's not here anymore, he said, we're selling movies. He said, we could sell some pizza with this. So that's what we did. We just jumped into it with both feet.
Your daddy's pretty famous, too, around these parts.
He's been known to be famous around these parts a little bit. He was a treasurer for 20-some-odd years.
And Johnny Allen's also known for his cooking.
Oh, yeah. Daddy, he's been the Jamestown chefs. They've cooked the chicken bog at the Loris Bog Off and the Ainer Hoedown for several years.
Does he ever correct you on the way you're cooking?
Oh, yeah. He tries to tell us all the time. Daddy actually comes in and works with us a little bit in the morning sometimes, and he's our delivery driver now.
Oh, my goodness. I have got to place an order because I want Johnny Allen to deliver me some food. That would be really cool.
Pizza's up.
All right. I love pizza. Let's make room. I'll take that.
All right.
Over here. Ready for the pizza.
You got that?
I got it. I got it. Right here. Oh, yeah. Right here, baby. Right here. That does look awesome. Yum. Do you throw the pizza in the air and flip it? You don't do that? You don't do that. Okay. Of course, people do that before the cheese is on it, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very hot.
But now y'all have salads here, too.
Salads. Some people want a healthy choice. We sell a very, very popular chef salad. It comes with lettuce, tomato, peppers, onions, ham, turkey, bacon, cheese, banana peppers. And it's, any kind of dressing you want, and we sell a lot of them. And if you want a little healthier choice here.
And are you about ready for some Christmas parties?
We're ready for some Christmas parties. We're booking them already. We got a couple booked, and we actually have a couple of weddings already. Last year with COVID, we didn't do a bunch of wedding caterings. But we already have 3 on the books for next year already, and that's picking up. The catering's very good. And our catering menu is not limited just to pizza and the subs. We do everything.
You said that. Yeah. Steaks and frogmore stew and chicken bog. Hey, come back in here, Blake. Come on in here. You got to end with us. Come on. Can't eat any pizza yet, though. It's still hot.
Yes, the pizza's warm.
Okay, let it just cool down. Before we wrap it up, though, just have to mention one more thing. Someone told me I could not leave without sampling your famous homemade dessert.
Yep.
What is this?
This is our chess bars. I got the recipe from my Aunt Savelda. It's just what it says. It looks like a chessboard, and it works out. I think try that. It's very, very good. It's like a cream cheese cooked topping and a really rich chocolate bun. Fat-free. It's not fat-free.
Delicious.
But I
thought it was going to be like chess pie.
Yep.
It's better than chess pie because, as y'all know, I'm a chocoholic. I thank you so much, Brett. This is a great place. 3 guys, subs and pies. You don't want to miss it. 4th Avenue in Conway, 701 South. Take a bite on the other end. Never trust a guy who won't eat his own stuff.
That's right.
We're talking honeybees. That's what's next on Inside Out.
As fellow community members, HTC knows the precious value of family time spent together. That's why HTC delivers faster speeds, 24/7 local tech support, and free Wi-Fi. No matter where the day takes me, HTC serves up the world-class high-speed internet you need to stay connected to your world. Because you are here, and so are we.
High-speed internet starting at 300 megabits per second and up to 1 gig for as low as $49.95.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Magnolias at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
Welcome to the Kate Spade section of Horry County. Meet my friend Stan Janiak. He is Sweet Blooms Apiary. Now, he isn't interested in selling honey that the bees produce. He's interested in educating. He's the outreach coordinator for the Blackwater Bee Association here in the community. What is that association all about, Stan?
It's an education association, Diane. What it does is it helps people who are interested in the environment learn how to raise bees, how to help with the pollination issues that are going on, because bees are struggling, and at least honeybees are struggling, especially as the environment changes. You have houses being built, you have their environment, their flowers being taken away, their trees are taken down, so you have everything changing, so they're not having the food sources, and they're diminishing. In addition to that, you're having parasites come on that has just changed the whole realm of beekeeping. It used to be easy. You put up a hive and you collected the honey. Now you put up a hive and you hope it's going to make it through the year because of the parasites. Really challenging.
You've got lots of hives. So what do you do when the bees produce the honey if you're not selling the honey?
Well, what I do is I just make sure the bees survive. And I don't have, quote, lots of hives. I have probably right now 14 to 12 to 14. I am what they call a hobbyist beekeeper versus someone who is a commercial that has 500 or more hives. I find that the hobbyist beekeepers are the majority beekeepers in the state of Carolina and in most states, because we're the ones that are trying to just make sure the environment stays sane. Most people don't realize that when they go to the grocery store, what they're going to find is all these wonderful vegetables, and they're going to say, oh, this is so great. Look how big they are. Look how nice they are. If you didn't have honeybees and you didn't have other pollinators, because honeybees are only part of the pollination system, there are pollinators, your wasp, even though you hate them, they're pollinators. Mosquitoes, even though they're even worse, they're pollinators, but they're not of the same magnitude. The thing that we have to realize is that in our environment, we need to protect our food sources, and in order to protect our food sources, we need to have the pollinators sustain themselves. And with the changes in the environment, that's not happening.
When you go into the schools, what are the main things that you want to make sure the kids learn before you leave?
That they shouldn't kill bees, that they should be very careful when they're using pesticides. Pesticides, although not the largest contributor to damage of bees, it is a significant one, especially with some of the pesticides out there. But it is a matter of understanding how to use it. You don't use pesticides that are powders on flowers. You don't spray during the day when the bees are out. But pesticides isn't the biggest problem. What the problem is, there are little mites that are, if I were to put one on my body, they're about this big, and what they do is they'll attach themselves when a bee visits the flower. They'll jump on the bee, and they'll come back to the hive, and what will happen is that mite will lay eggs, and it will kill off the young bees or make the young larvae mutate, and you're going to have huge problems. And usually if they're unchecked, a hive will completely die within 3 months, or worse yet, it will get so bad that they'll leave all their resources, everything there, and go find another place to try to get rid of the problem.
Tell me more about the honeybee and how it differs from other bees.
Well, the honeybee is very much an insect that has to have numbers, okay? It isn't solitary, so you're going to find a young colony or a colony in the spring during the nectar flow of between 30,000 and 60,000 bees in that colony. So there's so many bees that they go out and they're bringing back the nectar, which is the sugar source, and they're also bringing pollen, which is the protein source. And what's happening is they're making honey and they're storing up the food reserves that they need for the winter that's coming up. That's their job. Now, what happens with beekeepers is we try to take the excess honey, and that's what we would sell or use. And we want to make sure there's enough reserves for them. But bees are the only insect, honeybees are the only insect that makes food that is for man. No other insect does that. So they're really valuable. And what I find interesting is that people are afraid because, oh, they're going to sting me. Well, yeah, they will if you irritate them, but most if you learn, that's why the association is there. Blackwater Beekeepers is to teach us how to do this safely. You'll find that this will be the most interesting hobby you'll ever have, because you'll try to figure out, watching them work is amazing. They only live 42 days during the summer. In the winter, they'll live 60. The queen will live up to 5 years, but she's only productive for probably 2. And after that, if she's not productive anymore, they will either get rid of her by killing her off and replace her with another one. The hive does that. She has nothing to say about it. But it's just a matter of, people are afraid. Well, there's so many bees. Look at them. You can walk in the front of a beehive, of a honeybee hive, and not disturb. They won't care. I just can't tell you how enjoyable it has been. They have qualities that mimic human. They take care of each other. They take care of the hive. They're very supportive, but they all go on hormones and scent. So it is completely different. But God made these creatures very interesting. And if you really want to study on the intricacies of a major bee in this world, it would be the honeybee, because they are interesting and it's very rewarding, and you might even get some honey out of it.
Didn't I use the right word, passionate?
Sort of.
Stan, my husband recently got into this as a hobby, and he's fascinated about it, and of course he educates me. And there's so many misconceptions. Even we grew up with so many misconceptions. What do you think's the biggest misconception?
Well, first of all, that you can't do it, that it takes a specialty person to do it. That is the biggest misconception. And that beekeeping is only for the professionals. It is not. It's for anyone. Clemson has a program, Blackwater Beekeepers provide support through 4-H locally. If a young person wants to become a beekeeper, we'll help them become a beekeeper. If indeed they're passionate about it, we will support them. To become a beekeeper, to give you some idea, runs between $400 and $500 between the hardware, or the support, the bees, and everything else that goes into it. That will get you a good start for one hive, and then you can add from that. But the biggest thing that people need is education, and the only way they're going to get education is to go to the right sources. And this is the problem. We have people who think they know, but they've never really checked it out. They've heard secondhand, and that's the biggest problem, is people aren't educated.
And finally, you are the outreach coordinator, as we said in the beginning of the interview. And if people want you to come and speak to a church group or a civic group or a school that hasn't had you yet, all they have to do is contact you through Blackwater Bee Association.
They do. And I prefer to hit children aged in the elementary school to the high school. Young kids really don't capture that. Because I can interact with them on a one-to-one basis, and that's what I want, because you make it personal and it becomes yours. I do talk to civic groups. I don't want to be part of this presentation because they need to fill a spot. I'm interested in if they want to find out how they can help. That's what I'm more interested in, because this is all volunteer. Nobody's paid here to do this. I do this because I want to make a difference for others. And God made these little creatures. I mean, He blessed us with little creatures like this that provide us with not only food. We get wax from that which we make our candles, which does not have. If you get wax that is made from honeybees versus the wax that's made from oil, you won't have a stain in your house from oil when it burns, because wax burns clean. The honeybee wax burns clean. You have pollen that's used in many different types of commodities, as well as you have there's a thing called propolis, which is the sticky stuff that you would use for healing wounds. That's been used for hundreds of years. And what they do is that you put it on, it's antiseptic, and it will kill bacteria. These are incredibly complex creatures that have blessed us, and we just need to realize that. And I welcome anybody that wants to be part of it. I mean, all you have to do is attend a meeting at Blackwater's Bee. They meet at at the ag facility right next to J. Rubin, and on the second Monday of the month, and it's at 7 o'clock, and anybody can come. Your kids can come. What we want is we want to teach you how to do this. If you want to sell honey, knock yourself out. If you want to sell pollen, knock yourself out. If you want to sell wax, knock yourself out. But I want you to realize that you're adding to the environment and you're protecting our real main resource, and that is honeybee.
Can you tell? This is the honeybee's very best friend, a man who's passionate. Thank you so much, Stan, for being with us on Inside Out. God bless you, my friend. She's a woman of many artistic talents. Meet Sharon Sorrels right after this break. Proper serving, proper distancing. We're into safety at Magnolia's. Our staff now plates your food with all your favorite choices from the buffet, salad bar, and dessert bar, and it's still all you can eat. There's also breakfast, evening, and an expanded Sunday buffet. Mama says she can't cook it that cheap. Plus, the kids will love the yummy ice cream machine. Named Small Business of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. Magnolia's, it's where Mama eats. There's fungus amongst us. And with all the moisture around our community, there's no better time to see mushrooms. Hence, this month's video. Years ago, I had the opportunity to take a couple of art classes at the Seacoast Artist Gallery at Market Common, and I met this friend. This is Sharon Sorrels. I used to be amazed just watching her because as she volunteered at the facility, she was always painting while she was working. And I loved watching you because you paint with passion on your face.
Thank you.
I want you to tell me how you got into your art.
Well, when I retired and came to this area from Washington, D.C., painting and drawing are something I've always enjoyed doing. Now I was retired and I had time to do it.
What did you do prior to retirement?
I was a school library media specialist in high school in Washington, D.C.
And you taught, too?
Yes, I did. I taught a literature class while I was there, and I enjoyed doing it. This was my second love. I love reading, love literature, and I enjoyed teaching it.
But it's amazing because, as folks will see here, it isn't just oil painting that you do. You've done baskets, which we have here on the table, jewelry. I mean, by the way, where is that jewelry available? Folks are going to see it, and the ladies are going to want it.
I have jewelry sold in the Georgetown Art Gallery on Front Street in Georgetown. I have jewelry that is being sold up at Shine Cafe in Conway and the Encore Gifts in Conway.
And of course, you live in Conway, but you're so active with two wonderful community organizations, both Seacoast Artists Gallery as well as the Waccamaw Arts and Crafts Guild.
Yes.
So when do you have time for other things?
I'm very busy. Honestly, I'll have to admit that this keeps me very busy. I joined both of the art guilds because it gave me a chance to meet other artists, and they offer workshops. They keep me, and I love getting instruction for myself as well. It's never too late to learn anything. And I started making jewelry just a few years ago when a friend suggested how much fun it was. So when I'm not painting, I'm doing that. And I also make sun catchers and garden ornaments and all kinds of things.
I've seen those. Your sun catchers are beautiful.
Thank you.
And these little sticks back here, that's the garden ornaments?
Yes, they are little garden sticks. You can put them in your flower pots, and they lend a little bling to your flower pot.
But you've got to see the official art. This is what I mean by official. Take a look at this beautiful charcoal piece back here that you said was a homeless man.
Yes. Yes. I was able to draw him with charcoal based on a photograph that a friend of mine allowed me to use. And his face just sort of popped out at me. And when I looked at him, I could see that he had a story to tell. And that, by the way, is the title of the drawing, A Story to Tell. And I did him in charcoal in black and white because I thought that would better convey the emotion and the fatigue and the story and the life he must have led. So that's why
it is beautiful, but so is this. If you'll grab the other side, this is Snake Man from Georgetown, huh?
Yes, he is an oyster fisherman from down in the inlet area, and he is known to many people who do eat at the seafood restaurants down there, and he supplies some of the restaurants.
Oh, I mean, Sharon, you're just remarkable.
I love to paint or draw faces that convey a lot of emotion, and if they have a few lines, but that's the story of their life, and so that's why I enjoy painting and drawing people with character like that.
And you've got a piece back here with your grandmother and her friends that I love. The colors are vibrant.
Thank you. I painted that from a black and white photograph that I had in an old scrapbook. And so I took a little license with the colors of their dresses and painted them in oil.
Having wandered through Sharon's house here in Conway, I noticed a big set of pieces that you tell me you were hired to do by a family in Conway for their new renovation. And oh my goodness, these are beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy doing them.
And I guess when people hire you, they give you an idea of what they want, or maybe they just let you use your imagination once you've seen their home?
A little of everything. Sometimes people have color schemes in mind. They'd like for the paintings to go well with the paint in their room or the sofa that's going to be underneath the painting, or they have memories they'd like for me to bring back to life. I've done portraits of grandfathers and people who are no longer with us, but they wanted a painting done based on a photograph they may have had. And so I'm happy to do that. And I talk to them a lot to get an idea of what this person was like. So I try to get that feeling in the painting.
You have children portraits. I've seen some of those in your portfolio. What has been the most challenging of all your work? I mean, you're so diversified with the baskets and the jewelry and the garden ornaments. And I mean, from charcoal to oil. I mean, what has been the biggest challenge?
I think usually the challenge is when I'm doing something for the first time. And I'm always up to trying new things. But other than that, when I'm painting or drawing, the challenges in the portraits, I always feel pressured to create something that the person who has asked me to do it will recognize the person that I created. So that is the challenge for doing a portrait.
But what's interesting is that over here with this homeless piece, the gentleman was homeless. You never met him.
No.
But yet you've won more awards probably on that piece than any of your others, and you didn't even know him, but you brought it out.
No, I could just tell there was something about it. Sometimes I do get photographs, and I have been known to take photographs of people unbeknownst to them, which may not be always the best thing. But I love to see the character. Some people exude a character and a personality and just their face. And when I saw his face looks like all of his life is etched in his face. And he looks as if he has many cares. and he looks a little tired.
There's also a piece in your kitchen that I just think is magnificent, and people really need to see the scope of this. How big is this piece?
It is a big 6 feet by 4 feet plus its frame. And it's so large I had not been able to move it out of there since several years ago when my late husband took it in a U-Haul to the gallery, and it has come back here and has not moved again. It's too big.
It is magnificent, though.
You.
The depth of this and the spirit of it is just beautiful, Sharon.
Thank you.
I think people will really love it. Speaking of your husband, before he passed away, you painted this piece?
Yes, I did a drawing of him on one of his favorite photographs wearing his favorite hat, turned around backwards, which he wore a lot.
Did he like the piece when you finished
He
it?
did.
Well, that's
He
good.
liked it and his family liked it, which is important.
I also like a piece that you have in your den of the jazz, I guess it's a jazz club, and you tell me that it's a piece that you painted back in Washington.
Well, I painted it here, but it's based, when I used to live in Washington, this was a famous jazz club in Georgetown, Washington, which is D.C., called Blues Alley. So it's just a memory of where I used to live, and I keep it on the wall in there just to remind myself of hometown.
Of where you've been.
Yes, where I used to live.
But we are glad that you are here. You are super talented. Your diversity is unbelievable. You've got Applewood, Conway at the different shops there, the Rice Museum you've had work. And so finally, I know that you would like to invite people to come see you on Tuesdays.
Yes, they can see me at the Seacoast Artist Gallery. It's at the Market Common. Tuesday's my day to volunteer and host. So I'm there every day from 10 until 6. And the Seacoast Artist Gallery is the gallery for the Seacoast Artists Guild. So that is a great place for artists to display their work and maybe sell a piece or two.
A really good plug, Sharon, no doubt about it. Thank you so very much. I'm a big fan of your work, and I'm sure now that we've introduced you to our Inside Out audience, they will be too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Coming up, Rosemary Farrell says it's never too late to dance. Palmetto Performers is next.
Honey, I think I'll adjust the thermostat. It's getting a little cool.
Mom, you don't have to get up to do that. I've installed the HTC Connected Home app on your phone. See, you can adjust the temperature from anywhere. Okay, Mom, I've got to go. Thanks for house sitting. Make sure to lock the door and set the alarm.
No problem. I have everything I need right here.
HTC Self-Install Kit, $0 with 36-month monitoring commitment.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
We're in Myrtle Beach right now at a dance studio known as By the Sea Ballroom and Latin Dance Studio. Why? Because we're going to talk about dancing with this woman. This is Rosemary Farrell of Palmetto Performers. You told me that this is your passion project, but when did you start dancing?
It is my passion project, and I started dancing at age 50.
Well, you don't even look 50 now. You look dynamite.
That was years ago. That was years ago, several years ago.
But that's inspiring for other people.
It is. It is. And all my life I had skied and played golf, and my husband and I played golf and played tennis. And then all of a sudden I decided one day I want to go learn how to ballroom dance.
And what's neat is you created this organization, Palmetto Performers, and tell everyone what you do.
I will tell you, it is really a great team that I'm so proud of. And we go around to assisted living centers. I have now 41 people on my roster. We have singers, dancers, dance teams, solo dancers. We even have a therapy dog named Elvis. And I have my husband who does all the sound system and lugs all the speakers. And we just completed our 25th show here on the Grand Strand.
And you've only been doing it a couple of years, and then during 2020 you didn't get to do that.
We did not get to do that, but let me say something about that.
What did you do then?
Well, one of the assisted living centers got very creative. They created a parade a parade with 30 vehicles that went around the assisted living center playing music, some people doing dancing, which is what my team did. And in fact, I had a guy who had a sound system, and he stood in the back seat and he did like the YMCA and whatever and got everybody energized. So that's what we did during the pandemic with the Palmetto Performers. But the Palmetto Performers, we go around, we do every kind of dance, we rehearse the night before, and we have more shows coming up this year. I'm very proud of the team. They're dedicated. We have new people coming on board. I have a jazz team, a tap team, I have a singer coming on board, and we already have 5 singers and maybe 16 dancers. It's awesome. The assisted living folks love it.
Of course, because you play their music, right?
We play their music. We play a lot of Broadway show tunes, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. We have sing-alongs. We get them involved with props. We always have a patriotic song.
Now tell me, you mentioned the pandemic just a second ago, but didn't you also go out to the beach and do something creative? I think you mentioned that on the phone to me.
On the beach, yes, we did. During the pandemic, which was a terrible time for everybody, but especially dancers. How can you get close to somebody and dance? I mean, you just can't do it. So one of my teachers, Jason Ramey, and I created routines that we dance apart from each other. And the first one we did was called, what was a foxtrot, and it was to the song Beyond the Sea. So I said to Jason, let's do it on the beach. So we did, in 95-degree weather, him with a tuxedo, me with a ball gown. I do not recommend dancing on the beach, but we did that. We call it the Untouchables. Then we put it on Facebook. People asked us for more. We did a West Coast swing, samba. Then we created COVID-safe socials. And we had them here in the studio. Limited number of people. Everybody had their own dance pod. Nobody was allowed to switch partners. We followed all the CDC rules. We had about 10 of them last year.
Now, what about the showcase that you mentioned? Isn't there something coming up in the fall that maybe everyone would like to attend?
Well, it's very possible that everybody could attend. I do get a waiting list very quickly. I created showcase events about 9 events ago, probably about 9 years ago. And what they are, I invite anybody who dances, just about everybody who dances in Myrtle Beach, I invite them to be part of the program. I ask professionals, amateurs, hip-hop teams, ballet schools, some singers. I invite everyone if they would like to be on the program, and this is to educate. This is educate and entertain mostly non-ballroom people. Because when I got here, when I moved here 10 years ago,
everybody was shagging.
Everybody, yes, and that's a great dance. Shagging is a great dance.
Right, but nobody was ballroom. Now, there really hasn't been much ballroom and Latin dancing.
There hasn't been, you're right. And actually, I do have a shag couple now on my Palmetto Performers team.
Great.
And that's cool. So anyway, so the dance, this showcase, has all genres of dance. And it's really fun. And we do lesson. And we always do New York, New York. Because number one, everybody loves that song.
Oh, yeah. It's great to dance to. Gets everybody up.
It gets everybody up doing their version of a rockhead kick line. So we have that and lessons and about 200 people.
When's it going to be and where?
October 22nd at Robert Reed Recreation Center, right in Market Common area.
Absolutely.
So that's our next one. That'll be my 9th one here.
Now, somebody told me that you did something even crazier than dancing on the beach during a pandemic.
Oh, no.
You danced at the airport.
Oh, we did.
What is that story?
Well, I'll tell you. So flash mob. Flash mobs are done worldwide. They're a spontaneous dance. They're done at airports, train stations, malls, events, all over where there might be a crowd of people and some dance space. And what happens is one person gets up first and starts dancing, then people come from different areas and they join into the routine. And before you know it, everybody's dancing. So, and it's an element of surprise. We did it at the Myrtle Beach Airport during the holiday season when one of the fullest flights was coming in from California. So I definitely organized this with the TSA and the people at Myrtle Beach. One of the other things I'll touch on is with the show dances, we were asked to do a performance for a holiday show, Christmas show. So we went to the location, and the lighting was terrible, and we just couldn't figure out how we were going to do this to make us show up and, have nice lighting. So what we decided to do is we turn out all the lights, and we lit ourselves up. We lit ourselves up. Our costumes had lights that went on, and we danced to Silent Night. And then we were invited to a lot of shows to do that. And Brook Green Gardens picked us up. Brook Green Gardens said, can you come and dance at Night of 1,000 Candles? So we did that. And that was probably one of my favorite show dances with the lights and all. It was a little coordination with the lighting.
Well, I can tell you're really passionate about this, and I'm wondering if you would like to have more people come out and join you since dancing's so good for you.
Absolutely. I invite folks to come and join the Palmetto Performers, come to our assisted living centers. I invite dancers especially, also singers, because we do have a song and dance team. We call ourselves a song and dance team bringing joy to others. So yes, I welcome other people to come and join. You can call me or send me an email and let me know what your interest is. We're always adding folks to the list. I had a couple who just moved away, and I have some people coming in. So yes, I welcome new talent, new folks. It's a variety show, remember? Singing, dancing, waving flags, doing hand jive with our pom-poms. So it is a variety show.
It's a great invitation for you, friends, if you like to dance. And of course, you'll be bringing music to people who rarely get a chance to hear it. And that's inspiring in itself. And even though all of my guests are always dressed beautifully, no one has ever dressed quite like this in a beautiful ball gown with beautiful makeup and earrings. And how about that hair? It's gorgeous. Oh, how about that hair? This is Rosemary Farrell. Don't you love her? Why not? Love you, honey. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
You bet.
This was fun. Thanks.
You can help honor deceased veterans through a wonderful nonprofit. Wreaths Across America, next.
As fellow community members, HTC believes in helping friends and neighbors protect what matters most. With integrated home technology, I can control my home and security system from my smartphone. HTC Security makes my job easier and keeps my world running smoothly. No matter where the day takes me, HTC brings reliable, world-class security right here to Horry and Georgetown counties because you are here, and so are we.
Upgrade your security with a video doorbell from HTC.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
This segment of HTC Inside Out is presented by the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.
We're in Forest Brook today, where you're going to meet a very impressive woman who has served our country beautifully and is still serving our country in many ways. This is Melissa Dion, and the official title is U.S. Army Retired Staff Sergeant. How many years did you serve, Melissa?
22 years.
Wow, and you've been all over the world. Fill me in.
I've been as far as Alaska in the United States, northern New York, and then I did 2 tours in Iraq and 2 trips to Korea.
Oh, and you're glad to finally be home here with your parents and son.
I am. I'm glad to be retired and spending as much of my free time as I can giving back to the community and to our veterans.
So you're helping to work with the Blue Star Mothers and Wreaths Across America. And even though I've interviewed the wonderful group here in South Carolina of Blue Star Mothers, this is an extension of them, and it is a beautiful one that happens in December. Fill me in on Wreaths Across America here in our community.
Wreaths Across America is an amazing organization that started with the Worcester Wreath Company in Maine. They placed some wreaths down in Arlington when they had some left over one Christmas, and it just blew up from there. Everyone wanted a wreath on their veteran's grave. So it became a national program. It happens every year in December. This year will be December 18th. At noon on December 18th in Arlington, in Maine, here in Florence. You can go as far as Hawaii and even Florence, Italy. Wherever there is an American soldier and they're in a national cemetery, there is this program going on, Wreaths Across America.
And there may be people watching us right now and say, well, your show is Horry and Georgetown County. Why are you covering Florence? But if a veteran from our area dies, they're Opportunity is to be buried there.
When I pass, I am pretty sure that my son will have me buried in the Florence National Cemetery, and better keep on the tradition. I'd better see a wreath on my grave when I'm looking down from upstairs.
It's amazing to me how inexpensive it is to sponsor a wreath.
$15 will put a wreath on a veteran's grave. We'll get their names said, and we'll get them remembered for another year. And if we keep this program going and we cover all these graves, all of these that have come before us and fought for the freedoms we have today will be remembered for all their hard work and sacrifice.
In looking through here, there's some beautiful, beautiful photographs, but this one particularly touches me, and it's something that you're obviously very close to.
Yes, you're looking at a photo of Julius Raymond Wilkes, Sergeant Julius Raymond Wilkes, who passed away back in 1998 in a horrific helicopter crash. It happened at Fort Campbell. It was actually on what's called Angel Road. And I, unfortunately or fortunately, was the senior medic that arrived to that crash. Unfortunately, we could not save everyone that was in that helicopter. There were 11. 4 of the 11 made it, and unfortunately Sergeant Wilkes didn't. And then fast forward 14 years after this horrific crash, and there's a ceremony going on here in the Myrtle Beach area for mothers who have lost their children in the service. Sergeant Wilkes' mother, Audrey, was at that ceremony, and my mom overheard how her son had passed and immediately called me that night, and we found out that I was the senior medic at that crash, and unfortunately we couldn't save him.
Oh, that gave me chills. That was obviously a God thing.
I think chills were for me when a week later I got an email, and the subject line was, Sergeant Wilkes, I'm his mother. And it was very hard for me to open that email at first, but once I read the email, and she had said, after meeting your mom and meeting the Blue Star Mothers, if you are half as good as that your mom is and that group is, then I know my son was in the greatest care that he could get on his final moments. And I cried and I cried, and as soon as I retired in 2015, that December, I retired in July, and that December I was at that cemetery and I helped Audrey place the wreath, and I said a few words to Sergeant Wilkes, thanking him for his service. And I'm still thanking him here in 2021 because our story I get to share, and hopefully people will hear this story and want to reach out to the Blue Star Mothers and donate, put a wreath on a grave. Let's not have all of these fallen veterans, 13,000 to be exact, that are buried there right now, go without being remembered for all their sacrifices.
It's got to be sad to be there at the event and only see a third or a tenth of the
that
graves.
Is what I would like
wreaths.
to challenge the Horry, Georgetown, Aner, anyone that watches this program. I challenge you to come on December 18th and to join us. And if we only raise 4,000 wreaths this year, I want to hand you 10, and I want you to go out in a sea of graves and tell me where you're going to place your 10 and what you're going to say to Captain Smith to the left and Sergeant Smith on the right when you don't have a wreath for their grave.
Well, you've got me all choked up, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers as well. So how can we contribute?
It's very easy. You can go to Blue Star Mothers of Coastal Carolina Facebook page. You can go to the Blue Star Mothers of Coastal Carolina website. You can go to wreathsacrossamerica.org/SC0017 and donate directly on the website. You can go to our Facebook page and like the Blue Star Mothers and see when we have upcoming fundraisers. We are a fundraising company, so for every 2 wreaths that we sponsor, we get a 3rd wreath. So for $30, you're getting 3 wreaths. So I look at it like $10 a wreath, $30, that's 3 veterans with that $30. And we are a 501c3, so you can get a receipt, and when you itemize those taxes at the end of the year, you can feel good about where that $30 went or more. There is a program, if you look in the back of your book, I have all the programs from all of the events that we have been to. In that program, if you say are a business and you want to donate $150, which is 10 wreaths, that gets your name on the program, and that program is given to everyone that comes to the event, and it gets passed around so other businesses will see how generous you are to the veterans community.
And finally, Melissa, tell us what the difference is between a Blue Star Mother and a Gold Star Mother.
I can tell you that. So my mom is a Blue Star Mother. I joined the military, and the minute I joined the military, she became a Blue Star Mother. Audrey, whose son is buried in the Florence National Cemetery, started off as a Blue Star Mother, and in May of 1998, when he passed away, her Blue Star turned to gold.
We'll be there. I'm telling you, December 18th.
I can't wait to see you
My
there.
husband and I will be there because his...
And our guest speaker is going to be Ed Piotrowski this year.
Well, he's worth seeing for sure. Ed's a friend of mine, but my husband's father is buried there, so we will come and certainly place a wreath on his grave.
So I'll give you your form so you can fill it out before
I'll give you
leave
some
here today
money
for your
before
$15.
I leave. You better believe it. Melissa, thank you for all you're
welcome.
doing.
No, thank you for letting us talk about this program and all the help that you can give us.
We thank you for your service, and I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.
Coming up, author Jim Furry discusses his new book about being an FBI agent.
When you're seriously injured, where should you turn? Turn to a law firm that has deep roots fighting for members of our community.
McGuire Law Firm is here. The same familiar faces you see on TV or around town are actually the same faces you'll see when you walk into our office.
We're here. We're here.
And we're here. And when the time comes, we'll fight for you every step of the way.
McGuire Law Firm, in your community, fighting for you.
We're in Conway, and I want you to meet Jim Furry. He's an author who has written Fidelity, Bravery, and Integrity, My Story. And we purposely aired this interview in September because it involves 9/11. Jim, first of all, I know you've been here since 2008 in the Myrtle Beach area. And why did you and Ann move to the area?
Because she got tired of shoveling snow in Pennsylvania.
And that made perfect sense. How long was your FBI career?
About 31 and a half years, all told. I started out as a clerk, and then I worked my way into the special agents, and then I worked my way into a supervisor's job.
We've got a model here of the Twin Towers, and you were involved with 9/11. Tell us your involvement.
Thank you. Yes, I was in Morristown, New Jersey at the time, and we were having an all-employees conference. And suddenly I noticed the foreign counterintelligence guys and the terrorist guys, at that time we had beepers, and all the beepers started going off. And they started getting up and walking out, and we're going, what's going on? And then our assistant special agent in charge turned on the big screen, and we saw the second plane hit the World Trade Center. Yeah.
As an FBI supervisor, you must have been very involved with the action.
Yeah, my boss told me right away. They had two supervisors in Paterson, New Jersey, and the office there, one of the supervisors' daughter worked in the World Trade Center, and he told me, I want you to go help the other supervisor in the Paterson office till we get the command post set up, because I want to let him go so he can track down his daughter. And thank goodness she was not in the building at the time when it happened, so she was all right after that. Yeah.
So I know that your story and the 9/11 story is, I'm sure, in this book, because this book focuses on your wonderful career.
Yes, yes.
What are some of the other stories that are featured in here? And I know your career has been varied, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, chronologically, I got on a surveillance squad, and we were following Russian intelligence officers, first for me in New Orleans, and then later I went into Washington, D.C. And so we were chasing Russian spies, and we were helping to train CIA trainees that were going to be going overseas to do spy work for the CIA, and went out to Illinois, and I worked in a small office in Rock Island, and I did white collar, and I did a case called the Church of Love, Call International, which was a big mail fraud case. And actually there's a producer that's working on doing a documentary on that case right now out in Los Angeles.
But I remember it was very cultish. I remember that story.
Yeah, yeah. It was, you know, nowadays they do it all electronically, but at that time he was sending lulling letters out to widowed men that their wives had died or divorced or whatever. They were lonely, and they would suck these guys in, give them a story, and take some pictures of some University of Iowa co-eds, and pretend that these co-eds were writing letters to them. And they got about $4 million, about $1 million a year for 4 years.
That will make a good documentary, for sure. Now, what do you feel like has been the most meaningful to your heart? I mean, I'm sure that you worked with a lot of cases that really made a difference when solved.
Of course, the World Trade Center was really close to my heart. But
of course,
my first supervisory position, I had a Crimes Against Children squad. And the 2 years that I supervised it, we arrested 50 men each year who were coming into New Jersey, who had connected with a minor, a teenage boy or a teenage girl. We actually arrested a Roman Catholic priest, a United Church of Christ minister, and a Jewish rabbi.
How sad.
And I think all the wise guys and all the organized crime guys and all those cases that I worked was a lot of fun, but this gave me more value that I felt I really did something that protected children, you know, and that was very fulfilling for me, yeah.
I can't wait to read that book, but you've written other books as well, and there's another one over here that I'm very intrigued with, and sounds like something really I would love to read, Love's Peculiar Nature. Sounds like a female-oriented book.
Yeah, my wife and I, we had a friend that got us to go to a couple of Romance Writers Association conferences, and I thought, well, I'll write a romance. And so I did 5 short stories. It's a good beach book.
But yet, you're writing another book as we speak.
Yes, it's called Mafia Mayhem. It's loosely based on the time that I spent working the DeCavalcanti La Cosa Nostra in New Jersey, working with informants and working with assistant U.S. attorneys, and the cases that I had, I kind of melding them and picking and choosing things that happened, coming up with a crime novel. Yeah. So
many of the jobs that you've had, though, Jim, have been frightening in nature. What did Ann say, your wife, as you went to work each day? I mean, working with the mafia? Pretty scary.
I remember the day of my retirement, she said to me,
Hallelujah.
She said, Jim, I'm glad you can take that gun off. I'm glad you don't have to wear that gun anymore. You made it.
Awesome. So, Jim, where do we find the book?
Okay, you can go, well, it's on Amazon. You can go on Kindle and get it. And if you want a signed copy, I think I signed one for you.
Thank you.
You can go on www.jimfurry.com and I will mail one out to you signed. I actually had a customer say, Jim, would you sign this for me? Would you say, I'm the one that got away? And so that's what I signed.
Of course, if they're buying the book, why not, right?
Yeah.
And I look forward to reading this on the beach. You'll see me there. Thank you so much, Jim. And remember, it's listed as James Furry.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really had a good time, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet. I thank you. So what's coming up next month on Inside Out? We're going to meet up with an artist from Georgetown County, Bruce Chandler, and a hot new book she's involved in. We're going to visit a pecan farm. We're going to learn more about the Grand Strand Down Syndrome Society. And how about a woman, a local actress who travels all over the world doing Rosie the Riveter? It's all coming up next month on Inside Out. I hope to see you then.
Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is Life. Connect with it. And Magnolias at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food where Mama eats. Along with the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.